Hello everyone. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Sunika, and today I'm going to share a complete Power Apps interview preparation roadmap, step by step. If you're preparing for your first Power Apps interview, or even aiming to switch roles, this video will guide you exactly on what to study. Topic priorities, a 7-day or 15-day plan, and I'll also share free resources at the end, including my full YouTube playlist of interview questions. So make sure you watch till the end and subscribe if you find it helpful. So the first topic is what to study. This is the most important section of your video because it teaches exactly what to study for Power Apps interviews and positions you as a knowledgeable educator. Let's start with the most important question: what exactly should you study for your Power Apps interview? Many people think Power Apps is just drag and drop, but that's not true. Interviewers actually test how well you understand business logic, data connections, and integration across the Power Platform. So, let me break this down for you step by step. So the first point is Power Apps basics. First, you should understand the fundamentals: what Power Apps is, where it fits in the Power Platform, and what types of apps we can build. Know the difference between Canvas apps, model-driven apps, and Power Pages, portals. Interviewers often start with simple questions like, what is Power Apps? Or when would you use a Canvas app instead of a model-driven app? So your basics must be very strong, like Canvas app, model-driven app, Power Pages. Then the second point is Canvas apps and model-driven apps. Canvas apps are used when you want more design control. You literally design the UI using drag and drop interface. Model-driven apps are more data-driven, built on Dataverse, and automatically generate UI based on tables. For interviews, prepare to explain use cases like, when would you choose a Canvas app over a model-driven app? And maybe even show an example project if you have one. Tip to say in video. A great example: building an employee feedback app with Canvas and a ticket management system with model-driven. The third point is Power FX formulas. Power FX, the formula language of Power Apps. It's like Excel formulas, but more powerful. You must be confident with commonly used functions like patch, filter, lookup, if, navigate, and with. In interviews, you might get practical questions such as, how do you save data to a SharePoint list? Or, how do you filter gallery data based on user input? The fourth point is data connections. Power Apps connects with multiple data sources like SharePoint, Dataverse, Excel, SQL Server, and OneDrive. Interviewers love to test your understanding of how these connections work. For example, what's the difference between SharePoint and Dataverse as a data source? What are delegation limits in Power Apps when connecting to large data sources? So, be sure to revise the pros and cons of each. Example explanation to include. For instance, SharePoint is easy and free, but not ideal for huge datasets. Dataverse, on the other hand, is faster and more secure but needs licensing. The next point is components and reusability. Next, components. Many developers skip this topic, but interviewers love it. Components let you create reusable UI parts like headers, buttons, or pop-ups and use them across multiple screens or apps. Knowing this shows that you think like a professional developer. The sixth point is Power Automate integration. Then comes Power Automate integration. This is one of the most common interview questions. Be ready to explain how to trigger a flow from Power Apps. Example, you can use the Power Automate flow button to send an email or update a SharePoint item directly from your app. Sample question to say on video. How would you send a confirmation email when a form is submitted in Power Apps? That's a very common one. The next point is 7. Security and environments. Security and environments are another key topic. Interviewers may ask, what are environments in Power Platform? Or, how do you control app access? Understand how roles, permissions, and environment separation like dev, test, and prod work. This shows you understand governance, not just app building. After that, the point number 8, publishing and sharing apps. Next, learn how to publish and share apps with your team or organization. You should know how app permissions work and what happens when you share an app with another user. For example, if a user doesn't have permission to the data source, they can't use the app. This is a common interview trick question. The last point is real-world project scenarios. Finally, interviewers often test your practical understanding. Be prepared to explain a small project you built, maybe a leave request app, expense tracker, or task manager. Walk them through your design, data source, and logic briefly. Real-world examples show your hands-on experience, which always stands out. So, in summary, don't just memorize features. Focus on understanding when and why to use them. Interviewers love scenario-based questions like, how will you handle delegation issues? Or, what happens when you share an app with another user? These test your real understanding, not theory. White heavy checkmark, understand concepts. White heavy checkmark, practice scenarios. White heavy checkmark, be ready with a sample project. Use screen sharing or slides while you explain bullet points. Add short demo clips, like inserting screenshots of Power Apps Editor or formula examples. Speak with a teaching tone, like you're mentoring freshers. Now that you know what to study, the next question is, which topic should you prioritize? Because Power Apps is huge, you can't study everything in 1 week. So, I'll help you understand what's most important for interviews, especially for fresher and mid-level roles. 1. High-priority topics. Let's start with high-priority topics, the ones that are asked in almost every interview. High-priority: Canvas apps, Power FX formulas, connectors, SharePoint, Excel, Dataverse, Power Automate integration. These are the core building blocks of Power Apps. 90% of interview questions come from here. Companies mainly test your practical understanding, like how to design screens, how to use formulas to save data, and how to connect your app with other data sources. For example, you might get questions like, how do you patch data into SharePoint? How do you filter a gallery based on user input? How can you trigger a Power Automate flow from Power Apps? So, if you're short on time, spend maximum effort on Canvas apps and formulas. This is where you'll score the most.
Pro tip is,
even if you just master Canvas apps and basic flow integration, you can clear most entry-level Power Apps interviews. 2. Medium priority topics. Medium priority: model-driven apps, Dataverse, tables, relationships, columns, security roles. Now, coming to medium priority, these are slightly advanced topics, mostly asked in mid-level or company-specific roles where they use Dataverse as their main database. You don't need to go extremely deep, but you should know the basic concepts like, what is Dataverse and how is it different from SharePoint? What are tables, columns, and relationships? How are security roles managed in model-driven apps? Many companies now prefer Dataverse, so having at least a conceptual understanding will definitely give you an edge. Example: for instance, if you're asked, how do you manage permissions in a model-driven app? You should be able to explain the idea of security roles in Dataverse. 3. Low priority topics. Low priority: AI Builder, Power Pages, portals, licensing and administration, explanation. Finally, low priority topics. These are good to know but not critical for interviews. AI Builder, portals, and licensing questions are usually asked only in advanced roles or in Microsoft partner companies. If you're preparing in a short time frame, you can skip these for now and focus more on building and practicing apps. Optional add-on line. Later, once you've mastered the core topics, you can explore these to expand your career towards Power Platform Architect or consultant roles. Summary tip: on-screen text example. 70% Canvas apps and formulas. 20% Dataverse and security. 10% AI Builder, portals, licensing. So, to sum it up, if you're short on time, focus 70% on Canvas apps and formulas, 20% on Dataverse and security, and 10% on advanced tools like AI Builder or portals. This way, you'll cover the most relevant content and be well prepared for 90% of interview questions. Revise with interview questions from my playlist. Just 1 to 2 hours daily is enough to confidently face any Power Apps interview. To speed up your Power Apps learning, use free resources like Microsoft Learn modules, community forums, and LinkedIn groups. Don't forget to check my Power Apps interview questions playlist in the description. Also, practice by building small apps like a leave request or expense tracker to strengthen your skills. I hope this roadmap helps you prepare better for your Power Apps interview. If you found this video useful, please hit like, subscribe, and share it with your friends who are also preparing. And don't forget, the full interview question playlist link is right below in the description. Thanks for watching. All the best for your interview.